The sacred Kora crown weighs heavy on his head as Oba Ovonramwen Nogbaisi stands in his palace courtyard, watching smoke rise from distant villages. It is February 1897, and British cannons echo across the ancient kingdom of Benin. Around him, bronze plaques that have adorned these walls for centuries catch the firelight, masterpieces that chronicle 500 years of royal lineage. He does not yet know that within hours, these treasures will be ripped from their ancestral home, shipped across oceans, and displayed in foreign museums as spoils of war. This is Ovonramwen, the 35th Oba of Benin, ruler of one of West Africa's most sophisticated kingdoms. But tonight, as British forces breach his capital's defenses, he becomes something else entirely, the last independent king of an empire that once stretched from Lagos to the Niger Delta. Born around 1857 into the Ogiso dynasty, Ovonramwen ascends to the throne in 1888, inheriting a kingdom already under pressure. The Berlin Conference of 1884 has carved up Africa like a feast, and British merchants grow increasingly frustrated with Benin's trade monopolies. They want direct access to the kingdom's vast reserves of palm oil, ivory, and rubber. Ovonramwen refuses. The young Oba understands what many of his contemporaries do not, that European protection means annihilation. He watches neighboring kingdoms fall one by one, Lagos annexed in 1861, the Oil Rivers Protectorate established in 1885. Each diplomatic mission from the British brings the same demand: open your markets, accept our authority, surrender your sovereignty. Each time, Ovonramwen says no. His kingdom pulses with life and artistry. Bronze casters work in the shadows of the palace, creating sculptures so intricate that European visitors will later claim they must be foreign imports, refusing to believe African hands could craft such beauty. The guild system governs every aspect of society, from the Kora workers who fashion the Oba's regalia to the brassmiths who immortalize royal history in metal. But Ovonramwen's refusal to submit comes at a price. By 1896, British frustration boils over. Acting Consul General James Phillips decides to force the issue. Against explicit warnings, he marches toward Benin City with an armed delegation during Egu Festival, a sacred time when no strangers may enter the kingdom. The ambush at Ugbine changes everything. Phillips and most of his party lie dead in the forest, victims of Benin warriors defending their sacred season. In London, newspaper headlines scream of "savage massacre." The British government has its excuse. Within weeks, Admiral Harry Rawson assembles a punitive expedition, 1,200 troops, modern artillery, and orders to destroy the kingdom completely. On February 18, 1897, the ancient walls of Benin City crumble under British bombardment. Ovonramwen faces an impossible choice: watch his people die in futile resistance, or surrender his throne to save lives. As flames consume the royal palace, he makes the decision that will haunt him forever. He flees into the forest, hoping to continue resistance from the shadows. For 3 months, the rightful Oba lives like a fugitive in his own kingdom. British forces systematically loot every bronze plaque, every ivory carving, every Kora ornament they can find. They ship over 4,000 artifacts to London, treasures worth millions that will fund their expedition and fill European museums for the next century. But Ovonramwen cannot bear to watch his kingdom bleed. On August 13, 1897, he emerges from hiding and surrenders, believing his sacrifice might bring peace to his people. The British tribunal that follows is theatre, not justice. Charged with the death of Philip's party and with practicing barbarous customs, Ovonramwen speaks with quiet dignity: "I did not order the killing of the white men. I was preparing to receive them when the unfortunate event occurred. It makes no difference." On September 13, 1897, they strip him of his crown and exile him to Calabar, 300 miles from everything he has ever known. For 17 years, the once mighty Oba lives as a pensioner of the British crown, forbidden from returning home. He dies in exile in January 1914, never again seeing the walls of his ancestral palace. But here is what they do not teach you in their museums, what they omit from their colonial histories: Ovonramwen's resistance saved something precious. While other kingdoms disappeared entirely, absorbed into colonial administrative units, his defiance forced the British to preserve Benin as a distinct entity. Today, the Edo people still have their Oba, still maintain their ancient traditions, still remember who they were before the ships came. And those bronzes. They remain in Western museums, but their story of theft grows louder each year. Nigeria demands their return. Activists challenge every exhibition. The very artifacts Britain stole to erase Benin's memory now serve as witnesses to its greatness. Ovonramwen's legacy lives in every demand for repatriation, every young African who learns their true history, every moment we refuse to let conquerors write the final chapter. He reminds us that resistance takes many forms. Sometimes it is the willingness to say no, even when the world tells you to kneel. His story is your inheritance, your reminder that you descend from kings who chose dignity over survival, from civilizations that created beauty the world still covets. The crown may be scattered, but the spirit that wore it beats on in every heart that refuses to forget.